AITA for ruining both my parents' marriages for disowning me. I'm the byproduct of my parents' extramarital affair. Both of them had spouses at the time. My birth mother got pregnant and had to tell her husband as he was overseas when I was conceived, so there was no way I was his. A few months after I was born, they decided not to divorce. I was given to my grandparents on my mother's side to raise, with my birth father secretly paying child support without his wife's knowledge. Both my parents had other children. My dad's side knows nothing about me, but my siblings on my mum's side were told that I'm adopted by my grandparents. Recently I decided that I wanted to know more about my dad's family, and I sent a friend's request to one of my siblings and my dad so I could get to know him. Well, he freaked out and contacted my birth mum, and they asked to speak to me over Skype. They both told me that they couldn't risk staying in contact with me and told me that they were going no contact and to please respect it and move on with my life. Well, I did pretty much the opposite. I contacted my dad's wife and shared screenshots of our conversations and told her everything. She is now divorcing him, while on my mother's side I told both my siblings, who then went on to tell extended family including her husband's side, so now they are separated and my siblings hate my mother. Currently my siblings on both sides' lives have been upturned, and after the satisfaction has worn off I feel like I unnecessarily hurt them through my parents. AITA for ruining my parents' marriages. Info. How old are you? I'm 17. NTA. It's really shitty that they would try to deprive you of having literally any family besides your grandparents so that they can cover up their bad behavior. I don't blame you for what you did. You're definitely going to have to deal with the fallout. But at least you can now have a relationship with your siblings. I just cannot understand how they didn't think they'd eventually be caught. What with giving him to her parents to raise? They could have chosen a closed adoption, but no. Mom wanted him close enough to watch grow up, but not close enough to take any responsibility for him. I just cannot understand the thought process of keeping him so close when you wanted to keep him secret. Jesus. What awful people. NTA. The sending of screenshots to the wife is maybe a bit petty, but I generally support notifying someone when you know their partner is cheating / has cheated on them. In this case, the cheater had a whole kid with their cheating partner and was paying child support. So there was a financial deception in addition to the original betrayal of cheating. It sucks that your half-sibs got caught up in the nastiness. But your BO dad had to have known this would catch up to him eventually. It's pretty gross of him to expect you to bear the consequences of his bad behavior while he goes on his merry way. AITA, I retract my earlier statement about the screenshots being petty. On reflection, I think it's perfectly reasonable. Honestly, if you've got to be on the receiving side of your husband cheated on you, has a child from it, and has been paying secret child support behind your back message, it's probably better to have pretty concrete evidence straight away, lest out to screw with their head. NTA, your parents are fucking selfish. So many other options for them instead of just pretending like you don't exist. If you don't want your spouse to find out you cheated, how about not ducking cheating? All you wanted was a little contact with family. They rejected you. Well, they don't get to choose whether your half-sisters and brothers want to know you or not. Maybe sharing screenshots was not the right way to go, but honesty, if you keep such a huge secret from your spouse, you deserve to get found out eventually. What's done in the dark will always find a way to shine. Totally agree with you. They deserved it. Your NTA here. Your parents couldn't have expected to hide a living, breathing human being forever. This is their lie and their problem. You were born into inauspicious circumstances, but you didn't choose who your parents were. You don't deserve to live hidden away for the rest of your life. Try and be supportive of your siblings on both sides, but embrace being out in the open. Take this opportunity to learn about your relatives on a deeper level, while also respecting their boundaries when asked. Forget your parents. They were never worth knowing to begin with. But see if you can build new friendships and relationships with your siblings, who are also victims of your parents' lies. Edit. Saw in the comments that you're 17. This is a lot for anyone. much less a teenager to go through. Talk to your grandparents about therapy in the future. And best of luck to you. Edit. Saw in the comments that you're 17. This is a lot for anyone. Much less a teenager to go through. Talk to your grandparents about therapy in the future. And best of luck to you. Unbelievable way to treat a 17-year-old. I think it's pretty callous to tell an adult with their own life to go their own way and stay out of our lives. But wow. A 17-year-old. Absolutely callous and cold-hearted. They deserve every bad thing that ever happens to them. NTA. You didn't ruin anything, they did. Your birth parents have been, and continue to be, completely selfish assholes. And everyone deserved to see who they really were. The only people who upended anyone's lives are your parents. You did not deserve to be told to go away or hidden. Exactly. And if they wanted to continue their lives and work on their marriages, they should have given you up for adoption and let you live a happy life with a family that loves you, rather than sticking you in a situation where you're forced to pretend you don't exist. They're both assholes regardless for cheating to begin with, and this made them escalate to like next level for the way they handled it. NTA. The effects of your actions did worsen the lives for a lot of people. But I blame you as much as I would blame a force of nature. They were really stupid if they thought they could keep a lid on this. I wonder after how many years they got cocky enough to believe they deserved the comfortable life they had. Sucks for your half-siblings. But if you can build/maintain a relationship with them, that would be the best possible outcome. NTA. You didn't ask to be conceived or born, and wanting to find BO family members is natural. I'm also adopted. That he tried to hide it for so long is indicative of the kind of terrible husband and father he is. I'm really sorry they are trying to make it seem like your fault when it is not. I get your siblings are bitter about how you outed him. But I think cheaters need to be exposed before they hurt more people. Because he wasn't just lying about the affair, but about a human being's existence, and that's horribly wrong. NTA for ruining their marriages. They did that by cheating. Sure, exposing a cheater's cheating will hurt the family that's being cheated on. But in my opinion, that's never an asshole thing to do, even if it's now in the distant past. You didn't make them cheaters. You just exposed them for what they were. NTA. They thought they could hide you from their families in the world. Not cool. They had you, but didn't want to be your parents. You have a lot of questions and wanted to get to know them, and their response was they didn't want their families finding out and for you to move on. That is a lot for a teenager to process. You had every right to expose them to their spouses. Just be sensitive to your siblings on both sides in regards to this situation. I don't have a coherent answer, but I will say this. Lies almost certainly eventually unfold. For 17 years they did not own up to their mistake. They literally passed it over to someone else. Well, that mistake has asked to be recognized. They thought they can just brush it off like they did. So they faced the consequences from the worst perspective. They cold tried and make it right, opening things up slowly and carefully. But I guess they got what they deserve. Props on the balls. Karma is a bitch. But I will say this. Lies almost certainly eventually unfold. Truth to the adage that old sins cast long shadows. Edited, a word. Info. When/how did you find out the truth about your parentage? If it was later in life, I'm particularly interested in how your adopted sister acted towards you. My aunt told her daughter, my cousin. Me and my cousin were close growing up, and she felt that I deserved to know the truth. My grandparents reluctantly said it was true, and also told me who my dad was. I found out about all of this 4 months ago. NTA. Yeah. You ignored their request. But honestly, fuck those people. They don't just get to hide away from the consequences of their shitty decisions like this. It would be different if they'd shown any remorse. But they just decided to keep the whole thing under wraps. You didn't ruin their marriages, they did that themselves. They were expecting you to actively participate in erasing your own existence from their world. They basically wanted you to not exist. Of course you got angry and wanted to hurt them. So the fact that you wanted to punish them is, well, I won't go so far as to call it a childish. But the fact that you feel like a schmuck for deliberately kicking the keystone pebble that led to this particular landslide tells me that you are a decent person that doesn't like to see other people in pain as a direct result of events you played a minor part in engineering. But please remember that the people who set up this whole situation made it so easy for you to trigger that landslide. All you had to do was publicly exist at them. Sure, you were pissed. But literally the only thing you did was say, hey, I exist. And if all you have to do is breath and exist to blow up someone's tower of lies, then you are so anti-A. All you had to do was publicly exist at them. Sure, you were pissed. But literally the only thing you did was say, hey, I exist. And if all you have to do is breath and exist to blow up someone's tower of lies, then you are so anti-A. That's it right there. Stuck the landing. 10/10. NTA. Ever heard the phrase, the body would eventually float to the surface anyways? You just jarred it from the muddy bottom. I've literally never heard this phrase before, but is now making it into my list of phrases to use. Thank you. Be civil. https link review our civility playbook. https link if you're unsure what that means. If you enjoyed this video then hit the like button and subscribe if you'd like to see more future videos.